In this video, we'll discuss a little bit about Buffalo Trail, how we do some mapping, and some of the fun things on the trails. So stay tuned.
It's on my mind. You were always on my mind.
This is our site at Buffalo Trails Restaurant and RV Park. All the sites, there's only 5, are about the same. They're paved with gravel spot right beside you. We were able to back the camper in and put the trailer in. We're 45 foot to a 24 foot trailer, but the sites are tight. There's no real good place to walk the dog. This drive, while it doesn't look in the camera, it looks normal. It's really, really steep. So we drug going in, several others drug. So 35 feet or anything over that is definitely going to drag going in. Probably not where we would stay again. This is the drive we're going to go over and get fuel. That's one thing that's very convenient. It is right next to or right near the gas station. And, of course, Hatfield and McCoy's, you can drive on the roads in certain areas. So, no problem with that. We're here in October, so it's a beautiful time of year. It's a rather cold. I'm not going to lie. There's this morning it's 38 degrees. So, yeah, it's going to be a high of 45 today or something. So, it's been warmer. Was in the 70s, but, goes up and down. The gas station is very convenient. Retrospect, we probably should get fuel in the evenings instead of the mornings, because mornings get really busy on weekends, especially trying to get fuel. You can get trail permits at this gas station or at Buffalo Trails. Probably if we come back here in this area, we'll probably stay at Mud Pit next time, just for an easier convenience to get in and out. And it's a little closer to the trail entrance too. It's not a bad drive there, which I'll show you on this, but it is a little further. Buffalo Trails is a little further than Mud Pit. The other thing, when you're coming in for the first time, it's really easy to miss the turn in to Buffalo Trails. It doesn't look like a turn in. It doesn't look like an RV park. So it's easy to miss, and you'll see that in just a second. Okay, here's the road. I slowed it down so you can see. There are signs. There's plenty of signs, but it is so easy to miss, and that is a very steep drive. When you look up it, all you see is the backside of the restaurant. So it's hard to even know once you do make the turn that you're at the right spot. And it was fine getting in. It also gets very busy on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday when the restaurant is open. So if you're pulling any kind of a rig in, make sure you get there by about 2 o'clock on one of those days, because when the restaurant's busy, it can get really crowded out there. And that's the other thing. If it bothers you that it gets noisy and there's people revving engines and sitting out by the fire with loud music till about 11 o'clock that you can hear in the RV sites, then that's probably not a good choice, because people do sit out there. There's a really cool fire pit there. People sit out there and play their music and all that. It doesn't bother us, but I know some people, if you had little kids, it would certainly be a problem. Here we're heading to the trails. We will go past Mud Pit on the way. There's also an old school grocery store where you can get snacks, and you can also get your permits there, as well as also at Mud Pit. So any number of places. If one's closed, you can go to one of the others. And this is just a nice drive. It gives you an idea of the area. This West Virginia has a lot of lower income housing or lower income families. Some of these houses are really, really cute and really nice. This is a nicer area. There's some that looks pretty well used. This is actually a really nice area of it, and it's beautiful here. The leaves are starting to change mid-October, and it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous drive to get to the trail. It is a busy road, fairly busy road. You do have to be very aware of the traffic. If you're uncomfortable riding around traffic, that's something you're going to have to be aware of. It's not bad, but there are dump trucks and there are big trucks. There are mining. They are still doing some mining here, and that's just something to be aware of. And here is our turn to go. We're going to go past Mud Pit. Right here on the corner is Old School Grocery Store, where you can stop and get supplies or get permits or whatever you need. And just down from that, on the left-hand side is the Mud Pit. I didn't, it wasn't on my radar when I was booking because it's called the Mud Pit, and I made an assumption that it was not someplace I wanted to stay. But it's all rocked in. It's definitely not muddy, and it was would have been way easier with a big rig to have gotten turned in, and to have plenty of room to park. That's it on the left there. It is all fenced. There's several campsites that you can't see there, and then these are over here that you can see. So plenty of room to park trailers and to turn around, and it is a bit closer to the trail. And I think they have fuel there. Trails will be up on the right. Now, that's another thing that I wanted to discuss is finding your way around the trails. Everybody's seen the videos on Hatfield McCoy's, and if you haven't ever been, finding the trails and finding the things on the trail are not always as easy as it seems. And I use a multitude of GPSs, and we go all over the country, so I'm used to using the Garmin and using Onyx and all that, but every place is different. And here, the sites you want to see, like the coke ovens, are not as easily marked. The trails are really, really well marked. They're labeled with the trail number, and you definitely want to get the paper map or have that available where you can reference it. The problems on Lifetime maps, which is great, and I use it a lot, is it lists all the trails. It also lists all the outlaw trails. So when you're looking and you see all these trails, it's really easy to get to not realize whether you're on Hatfield and McCoy trails or outlaw trails, and that's fine unless you're trying to find a specific spot. It can get a little confusing and a little complicated finding and staying in the right area. It also lists some roads, so you just have to make sure you look at it. It does say, it'll say HMPO for Hatfield and McCoy Pocahontas, but if you're not looking at it that way and don't realize how they're identified, you can easily get on an outlaw trail and not realize it. It does list whether they're green or blue, and that's great as far as that. The Bob T maps are really good to help. The Polaris app, the Right Command, works well too, and it does list the trails, but it can get a little complicated, so just make sure you take a good look at the map. The one thing that the Lifetime maps and Polaris and all the others are not showing is the roads that are blocked, and that's where I've had the most problems. Is I have a route plan, and I'm looking at Lifetime maps, and I plan a route to go up to Indian Ridge, and the road, if you look at the map, the paper map, it shows a big area X'd off and says active mining, this is closed. But if you're looking at Ride Command, or if you're looking at Lifetime maps or Onyx, it doesn't show that road as blocked. So when I'm planning it using Lifetime maps, I plan it right up to the road that's blocked, and then I have to figure out another way around it, which can be quite a distance to get around it. You can see the trails are gorgeous here. Fairly easy, fairly well manicured, fairly easy to get in, and the views are incredible. They also do a really good job of marking severities, so you know where it's good for you to go on or not. But just make sure you have a good understanding of the mapping that you're going to use. I'll put in some pictures here of the different ones that I use, and just so you have an idea. But you also have to be very aware of traffic here. There are some people that love to fly on these trails, so when you're going around turns, you have to be aware and pay attention that there can be other people coming. The other thing is know your hand signals. Make sure you know to show how many people's in your group. If this shows you're the last one, or hold up your 5 for 5 people following you or whatever. Know your hand signals. That's the main things here, because it does get really busy on the weekends. During the week it's really quiet, but on the weekends it can get really busy, and you can get a lot of dirt bikes and side by sides and 4-wheelers. Some of them run pretty quick, so just be aware. And that's why small children aren't allowed on the trails, because it can get sketchy on some of these trails, and with all the traffic and all, it's very easy if you run off the road. There's no edge on a lot of times, so you really do have to be careful. I'll put in some pictures now of some of the apps that I use, so you can see. This is Onyx, and you can see it shows where you've been, and it lists the trails, and it's handy. But it's you do have to keep track, but it does tell you where you've been. You can set on tracking, and that helps. This is Ride Command, and you can see it lists whether they're green trails or blue trails or black trails, and it also will track where you've been. And like I said, they're all handy and definitely needed. And then this is a lifetime map. So it gives more specifics on some of the sites, but you really do have to pay attention to find the things off site. And some things just pop up unexpectedly. You really just never know what you'll find on the trails, but that's what makes it part of the fun. On Trail 16, you'll find some hot dog vendor. They have live music. It's only open, I think, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 4. But they have hot dogs and chips and cold beer if you drink. And it's a fun little stop, a nice little break, and it's kind of exciting to see.
I got like those days underneath.
If they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, and I'd move it on a little farther down the line, far from Folsom Prison, that's where I want to stay. And I left that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Johnny Cash.
The hot dog vendor is a fun stop. We also have to kind of search out Coke Oven. It is on a blue trail, but it's not bad to get to. It's a little bumpy, but not bad. Make sure you adhere to the signs that are there. But it's a fun historical site that you just don't see everywhere. And one of the things that I oftentimes forget is to get a picture of us while we're at these sites. So don't forget to get a selfie while you're there. There are several view sites listed on the maps, but then there's the unexpected one. We went to wrong way. We went down the road, and we're heading to a trail that was closed. But look at the view, incredible. That's an active mile. The trails overall are easy to follow, and if you're paying attention. But like I said, I use the GPS, so I know where I'm at, and I can always point to get home, and I know what tracks I've taken. But the trails are marked well. The Hatfield McCoy trails are marked well. The outlaw ones, not so much. We did see turkey and we saw deer out here. I know there are bear. We haven't seen them. But you do have to pay attention to make sure you don't get on any blocked roads, any that are no longer active, especially if you're following your lifetime maps or something. Those will show trails on there that are still not. That's where the paper maps really help. So I hope this helps you find your way around. I'm going to do some more on Hatfield and McCoy's and on the trails, but it's beautiful here. If you haven't been, you certainly should, and I'll show you some of the trails. And we go to the trestle and the corner shop in a later video. Hope you enjoy.